Sorry, matcha K-Cat. Happy Monday Moon Day, and welcome back to another request video. This one is on the question, what is my favorite zodiac sign? And I have to thank my Beyonce's friend. I'm engaged, by the way, if you didn't know, lols. This friend who asked this, as well as a host of other questions, which are on my list and soon to come. It's quite funny because this friend of my Beyonce is Scorpio sun, and we are just a few days from Scorpio season proper. So my next few vids are going to be seasonally fitting. Anywho boo, I'm not just saying this because I'm an astrologer and because it's Libra season, aka the diplomat season, but I do actually like all the zodiac or sun signs. I can definitely dislike the way each sign's energy can play out too, but everything is context, and you can always find all the signs' energies playing out in growthful, is that a word? Growthful and powerful ways. I'm still gonna rank the signs according to my personal view and then go a little deeper as to why I've picked a particular sign as my absolute fave at the end. Compulsory astrologer's disclaimer. I'm just talking about the sun sign general archetypal energies here. You might not at all identify with the descriptions, and that's cool, and you actually have a whole birth chart, which might explain why not. Also, it's not all about you, and I say this to all of us, including myself. It's not all about you, lol. All the way from Japan. Oh, first off, Aquarius. I adore Aquarians because they are so friggin' weird and quirky. They seriously come up with the most bizarre things and the funniest sounds I've ever heard. I've also found that they're the most likely to be up for some unpredictable, spontaneous adventure. Taurus. I am absolutely growing on Taurus because my Beyonce is a Taurus. A lovely, loving cow, a pretty cute, amazing bull. Taurians, to me, just have such natural style. They have exceptional taste. I've talked about this before on my channel, but they also seem to really have good taste in shirts. This includes Taurus moons, by the way. They're very sensual and charming and easygoing. Not all Taurians, obvi. Okay, Cancer. Now, as a Cancer rising and Cancer moon, I totally get a lot of what Cancerians are about. So true that they're super sensitive, and again, I've said this before, but they can be one of the most forgiving signs out there. When they feel on the same wave as you, they are the most genuine and interesting people. It really is like a big reciprocal hug whenever you interact with them. Oh, what? Oh yeah, okay, that's why I did that, okay. Alrighty, so next up is Virgo. Obviously, I am a Virgo sun, so allow us to indulge. I do love Virgoans' excruciatingly precise reads of people, ideas, situations. If they really want to, a Virgo can absolutely ruin you with their analysis. There's unlikely to be a detail they missed out or a scenario that they didn't already consider. Virgoans aren't always right, but they're probably 99% right. Libra, lovely Libra. Librans have that Venusian silver tongue, which before I got into astrology rather, had us every single time. They just know how to talk their way into any desirable outcome, and I'm pretty sure they have the least number of enemies than the other signs. They are sexy AF, talented AF. They have the minds far superior to what you kind of actually initially perceive, perhaps. Okay, Pisces, my solar opposite. Way before I got anywhere near astrology, all of my exes were already a string of Pisceans. But yeah, me and Pisces have a very astrologically accurate relationship history, and we're not talking anymore about that today. But I love Pisceans because they, I really do think they're the least judgmental people. Sure, they can have their kind of mutable, go with the flow meanness in situations, but generally I think they just want to be left alone the most, and they want to leave you alone. Like, they don't want to come at you with drama. They just want real peace and vibes, and they also have an amazing imagination and can deliver the most fantastical sexual experiences, the most wonderful, breathtaking conversations. They can have the most romantic views on life and the world, that you're just left with all this lovely wisdom and love for life and the world. And like, this is despite all the darkness and sadness that abounds. They can just kind of save you with their very presence. I think my Pisces midheaven is starting to show. Rightio, Capricorn. My. Now, I've got 3 natal slow af moving retrograded planets in Capricorn, so I've always had to resonate and deal with Cappy vibes. Hard work, long-term suffering, big daddy and authority issues, time as well. Oh my god, these guys just understand time. They know that all things are worth, or rather, let's rephrase that. They know all things worth anything take oodles and oodles of time and friggin' patience. They're out there producing a million things day in, day out, showing up at work and showing you up at work, lol. And they just have this amazing sense of someone or something that's going to cause the workplace, the family, or some situation a major setback. And this is actually a great skill for Capricorn. Even recently, I was just admiring the instincts of Capricorn when someone at one of the places I work at predicted that one of our colleagues was basically a liability. And there's no sign who can sense a liability better and earlier than a Capricorn. This colleague basically sensed this aeons ago, and they were dead on correct. And this colleague, though, this other colleague, who the Capricorn sensed, swindled their way through the social and financial and emotional resources of many of our colleagues, and then boom, they were gone, like a kind of cowardly captain that abandons ship. So I really, anyway, love Capricorns, Cappies as they're known. Now for my Mercurial sister Gemini, like, wow, what an amazing and stimulating as fuck sign. I never cease to be impressed, first of all, by the things that Geminis say. Clever, witty, streetwise. With the program, they're definitely the sharp knives of the drawer. Also, I'm amazed how Geminis can whip up a pretty good essay or letter or email, even if they've only got limited time and resources. They just have such a genius and ability to encapsulate the spice of life and the variety of the world, but also without making it sound arrogant or complicated or anything like that. Okay, Leo, the gorgeous Leonites. And anyone also with Leo moon or rising or loads of other shiz going on in Leo or the 5th house, I find, like, wow. You cannot miss the beauty and the fun and the charisma of these guys. I also find them to be super brave and supportive, loyal to a T. If you're part of their tribe, they will really swoop in and get their hands mucky. They really will. If you're worth it. They're fabulous and spectacular, yes, but they don't need actually any of the glitter and glory to tell you when you're stepping out of the line and overshadowing someone else's or their light. They're often misunderstood, but they really are more like conductors. They're the kind of cheerleaders of the zodiac. They're actually just as in it for you as they want you to be in it for them. Aries. Okay, so all the Aries I know literally do not give a frick about being themselves and putting themselves forward. They'll cheer you on when you legitimately, or when they legitimately see you, they'll cheer you on basically. But they'll just as likely be like, meh, if they don't see your fire. And this is actually a good thing, because they tend to be so openly honest about this that you actually, after spending lots of time with them, are able to properly ignite your own flame rather than like borrowing from others or like living in fear of what others might think. They'll point out your flaws that no one else was brave enough to do so, but they actually do it usually in a kind of innocent and probably humorous way. They are explosively fun. They show you how to get what you want, and they will absolutely defend you when you can't, or at least they'll show you their allegiance to you through kind of gentle commiserating gestures. Now for Scorpio. So Scorpio, very similar to Aries, is really Martian and will be deadly true to you, true to who and what they are, and true to their feelings. Once you're in with a Scorpio, you'll get the brutal but also transformative life force that you need to protect yourself from all kinds of manipulation and toxicity. Now, I think, contrary to popular belief, that these guys are conniving and vengeful all day, every day. Scorpios, I've actually found, are more likely than others to agree with true statements, even if they don't really like the person making the statement. In this way, you can actually know where you stand with a Scorpio better than with some others. They don't need to give you compliments and shower you with smiles, but they will stay in your life long after others have done a disappearing act. You don't even have to meet these people that often, but when you do, it's so refreshing and so right, and together you probably sit there and right the world. Lol. Also, I find Scorpios to be amazingly resourceful. They tend to have a lot of money and like income sources. They're amazing at securing themselves financially, and they also often seem to know the most kind of low-key yet very enjoyable spots to meet and relax, likely places that no one else ever took you. So my number one top fave, again, all of the signs I love and adore, is Sagittarius. Now, why Sagittarius? I'm not a fire sign, but we are both mutable, so I do vibe with the flexibility of Sagittarians' passions and beliefs and expressions and all that jazz. All-time favorite artist, though, Nelly Furtado, is a Sag sun and a Sag rising, and this girl's work basically got me through my adolescence, way before I barely knew that I was a Virgo, or what a Virgo was. Nelly instilled us with that Sagittarian hope, optimism, and wit that just makes life more fun and imaginative on the daily. I really needed these things, and into adulthood I found it again and again in Sagittarians. Some of you people know that before I got my birth chart rectified, I actually believed I was a Sag rising. What it actually was Sagittarius in my 5th and 6th houses, meaning I naturally find Sag things personally fun, and that I naturally approach work and maturity with this kind of Sag energy. Sagittarius energy empowers my personal authenticity and survival of the mundane. Not only this, but I feel my affinity with Sagittarius comes also from having my natal Chiron in the 1st house. Chiron is one of those centaur archetypes that some astrologers even think should be a co-ruler of Sagittarius or a co-ruler of Cancer. Chiron is all about being happy to heal and help others, to share knowledge, to be generous and kind, even while carrying like deep wounds that most others aren't able to help heal. And this is me all over. Also, I have Jupiter in the 1st house, aka the planet ruler of Sagittarius. Again, meaning that I have such a Sagittarian approach to myself personally, to my identity, and to learning more and more about myself, expanding and expanding on this learning every day. And when we talk about the 1st house in astrology, we talk about the things and the people and ideas that you are generally personally into. And so anything Jupiterian, jovial, optimistic, righteous, venturing, preachy, teachy, all that kind of fun stuff is part of my individual view of the world and what the world should be, is about, blah blah blah. All this stuff is found, I think, in Sagittarians that I meet. They are light, inquisitive, carefree, outgoing convictions, and they're not afraid to cross the line if it means defending these convictions. They roam free, literally and in thought, and they don't really hold grudges, and they know how to project their wisdom in ways that are both hilarious and high. So yeah, that's my answer to your question. Thank you as always for your cues and requests, and if you have enjoyed this video and my work, do subscribe, thumbs up and all that jazz. Love you, and I'll see you in the next vid. Mwah.